Hey, I'm Jeff the Junk Seller, and this presentation is going to be about the second Monday flea market there at Bowie, Texas. I just did that on January 9th, 10th, and 11th of 2026. Um, I really didn't have that good of a market this month. Um, I had decided that I was going to head off to North Carolina. The vans started acting up. I developed a new plan, which is to go down to Fredericksburg and Kerrville, Wimberley, that area down in Central Texas, and do a lot of sales down there. Since the van was being ornery, but since then the van has straightened out. I think it's a stuck valve in the transmission, one of the modules. But anyway, I did the sale at Bowie. I didn't intend on it. And the weather was a little better, but I still didn't do all that good. I only did about $400 this time, and I spent well. I bought five silver dollars for $225. I bought a copper swill pot, a toilet for a ship. Turn of the century, 1900, 1890, 1900, that in that range. And then I bought a an Israel Trask teapot, pewter teapot, that I paid them $50 for the swill pot, and for the pewter teapot I paid $30. And it was I know a guy that I met a guy at Buffalo Gap last time I was there, and he was the new guy. He did pretty well at Buffalo Gap, and then he went to Bowie, his new guy again, and he got out on his scooter, went and found a guy that had a brass porthole, and he paid $50 for it. Ended up bringing it back over and sold it for $500. The same guy had an oval cast iron roaster that he let him have for $20, and he sold that for $200. So I was just outperformed. I still only made $400, and I'm not really certain why, but I'll do that market again probably in the spring. And then I had a bit of news. One of the guys that bought a piece of pottery from me last month, it was a piece that I paid $20 or $25 for at Abilene. I sold it to him for $40. He came along, and he was even kind of snotty about it. He told me I should have done my research. He said that it was a piece of Catalina pottery, star something. But he said that he had seen one in a mall a couple of weeks prior to seeing mine out at the flea market, and that they wanted like $600 or $700 for it. I did some research when I got the piece. I couldn't find anything. A lot of times there's really obscure stuff that you're just not going to be able to find on the internet. And since he came and told me, I've done some more research, and I still haven't been able to find anything. And I'm not certain that his information is correct. Who knows whether the person that priced that was correct? But there is potential that I made a pretty serious mistake on pricing that. Now I would have rather have kept it than sold it for that price, if that information is accurate. But still, I'd rather know that I made this mistake than not know. There's that as well. But and I did sell a photograph that I might have undersold. It was a tintype. I paid $20 for it at Granbury. I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 months ago, and I sold it for $65. And the guy that bought it was a pretty savvy photograph buyer, and he told me that he thinks that it might be Virginia Military Institute. And I started doing some research, and there is a chance that maybe I undersold it if it was Virginia Military Institute. Most of the time, it's identified cadets at VMI that get the real prices, but I don't know. The kid may have been identifiable, and I may have let a photograph that's worth a couple $100 go for $65, but I paid $20 for that. I made my money. Um, but again, it's I would have rather have kept it than sold it at that price if I did make a mistake. And again, I would rather know than not know that I undersold it. But the market was kind of strange. I did have two opportunities where um, people got a little snarky with me, and snarky is the word of the day. Lewis Carroll, the author of Alice in Wonderland, is credited with the invention of the word snarky. And the people, the first the first of them, I had a tail light from I think it's from a '34 Chevrolet, and I was told that those are pretty pricey because the rat rodders and the guys doing motorcycles are after that. It's highly sought after. I only paid $4 for it at a sale, and I put a $60 price tag on it, knowing that they go for about 100 and a quarter online. And I had a friend tell me that I was crazy when I had it out there for $20. So I raised the price, and a guy came along. He's apparently gotten himself into a pretty good batch of new old stock material from an old garage. But he wanted to know about my tail light, and I told him that it was $60. He said, "Man, that's expensive." And I was like, "Yeah, well, they go for $125 on eBay." And he said, "Well, then you ought to sell it there." And it was completely, I mean, he was out of bounds with that. I felt like, and I said, "Well, I don't have a fixed address, and for me, the better option is to sell it at a flea market for $60. But thank you for the business advice." And he kind of smirked when I said that, and he got it. And then he ended up showing me a bunch of stuff, and I ended up connecting him to a friend. He self-corrected, and we made I don't know, a connection out of it anyway. But then I had two brass picture frames, and one of them has a bit of foam core that's cut in an oval, and it came out of a contemporary frame. And that foam core insert has a sticker, a contemporary sticker saying the manufacturer and everything. But the frames are gilded brass, and they're 1890 to 1910 or so, and they're $125 a piece online. You can find them, and I have my pair out there at I got them marked antique and $120 for the pair. And a lady came along and said that I really need to take the sticker off the back side. Those aren't old. You need to take the sticker off the back. And I told her, I said, "Hey, look, dummy, that piece of foam core is there to let people know that they can get a replacement glass by buying a contemporary frame, that it is being manufactured, that those dimensions are being manufactured right now, and they're being manufactured by the company that produced that sticker that's on that piece of foam core, and that's the reason that it's there. But thank you for your business advice." And she kind of gave me a little grin too, and was like, "Oh, I see." And after that, I went and wrote a little snarky note on the back of it. Snarkiness begets snarkiness, and it was just it was I don't know what it was. I think it was the weather or something. The weather was kind of nice, and I think that's why people were behaving like that. But sometimes I just get tired. As a vendor, you just have you get it all the way up to here, and it's like, yeah, it's time to start giving that back. But I did have a lady that came along and was intrigued by those frames, and she read the note, and I could see her over there chuckling. And I said, "You wouldn't believe that that's necessary." And she was like, "Oh, I can imagine." And she Google Lensed them because she really, really liked them. And I told her what I thought they were, and she said, "Yeah." She said, "That's what they are. $125 online is the cheapest." And I said, "Yeah," and I have a pair. And I didn't make the sale with her, but she was intrigued, and it was nice to see somebody getting on using the tools at their disposal to find out that I was correct instead of incorrect. But I can't be hostile about the market. It was survivable. The $5 silver, I'll make $20 a piece on those. The swill pot, I think I'll probably get $150 out of it. I paid 50, and the Trask pewter pitcher, I think I'll probably get 100 out of it, and I paid $30 for it. But I tried doing some shopping. Went in town, went to a thrift store that I like, went to another antique shop that I like, and I think that I have an outlet for a couple of pieces of furniture that I need to get out of my storage unit. They do the repair work and will be able to refinish this stuff to the degree that they need to sell it in their shop. And then uh, I took my Cameron Reinhardt doll with me, the red brown Indian baby, the Kaiser baby, the 100 mold 100 doll. And I expected there's a shop there in town. I wanted to present it to them and to get an offer. And then there's a museum in Granbury, and I wanted to present it to them and see what they would offer. But I haven't been able to contact either of those places. And I've tried. I was going to do, just a presentation just about whatever they offered me, and I'm almost certain that they would have lowballed me, and that it would have been embarrassing for them. But I did, because I wasn't able to get anywhere there, and I had the doll with me. I went ahead and just got on the internet and looked for doll auctions, national doll auctions, and I found 5 places that were recommended to me by Google, and I contacted all 5 of them. I've yet to get any information back from any of them. One of them, a company called Sweetbriar, I talked to a lady that she's been doing auctions for 35 years and collected dolls, I think most of her life, is what she told me. But when I went to describing the dolls, she was pretty quick to tell me that Cameron Reinhardt wasn't really a premium doll company, and she wanted to tell me that the Kaiser baby, the mold 100, was one of the most heavily produced dolls. But I said, yeah, but you're missing the point. It's red brown. It's not a white baby. It's a red brown baby. And at that point, she got all excited and told me that she had never heard of such a thing, and she wanted me to send her pictures. She was pretty excited about it, pretty giddy about it. And I think that it's probably a trophy doll. I think that there might not be very many of them made, and I think that they were produced for the East Indian market, for the British that were in India at the time. But that's all. I didn't really generate a lot of money, and I probably spent more than I made. I've been able to sell silver to keep me afloat, and right now I have maybe $2,000 worth of silver that I could turn in, but I'm speculating along with everybody else, and I'm going to hold on to that. Silver keeps climbing, and I think that the market is being driven by the needs of AI. It seems like the timing, they started breaking ground on the AI stuff, and silver started moving. And silver is just the best conductor of electricity that there is. And when you make a motor winding or a circuit out of silver, it runs a lot cooler. And some of the primary issues with the AI installations is going to be cooling those massive computers. And I think that a lot of people that they're saying that it's all kinds of things: industrial needs, solar panels, and uh, EV batteries, electric vehicle batteries, and I think that it's more exclusively AI. They just want to credit it with a bunch of other industrial needs. But I'm going to hold on to that, and I hope to get down to. I'm going to do Buffalo Gap this coming up week, and hopefully after that I wind up down in Central Texas doing the other markets that I talked about earlier. But that's about all that I've got to share in this presentation. If you've enjoyed this, then please give it a like, and if you have, please view some of my other material, and if you like that as well, then please subscribe. But thank you for viewing.